Hey yo, you down to your bare knuckles? You digging in your pockets and coming up with lint, but you want to get started in real estate investing? I got the solution for you. Hey, I'm Nasa, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a duru because I actually do this business. Hey, check this out, right? So a lot of people don't know, but when I got started, I had a job. I know people look at me now and see the success, but I actually had a job and I was broke. Oh no. First job in the call center making $10 an hour until the last job I got fired September 2012 making $38,000. However, I'm going to show you how I got the leads so that I can market to them, market to sellers to potentially wholesale their houses. Now, if you're new to this video, wholesaling houses essentially you find the house at a deep discount. Let's say a house is worth $100,000. You find the seller asking for $50,000. Maybe they inherited the house. They had some type of situation. They just wanted to get away with the house. You guys negotiate. You buy that house for $40,000. You put that house under contract. Call up some cash buyers, and the cash buyers, you might say, hey, listen, I'm selling this house at 123 Main Street for $50,000. They come look at the house. They walk the house, and you say, well, they say that they'll buy it at $50,000, or it may be some negotiations, but let's say $50,000 for this example. You then assign your contract, okay? And from you assigning your contract to that particular cash buyer, on closing day, your title company and attorney, depending on the state that you're in. I'm in North Carolina, so on closing day, after the title search is done, he'll wire in $50,000 plus closing costs, and boom, at closing, you will pick up a check, $10,000, because you had the contract, and you will pick that up from the attorney or titles company. You have that check or a wire in your account, right? So that's wholesaling houses, right? Finding buyers right now, you can throw a rock and find a buyer. Now, how do you find these particular people, right? If you have $500 or less, right? How do you get started, okay? Let's start with the list that's gonna take work to get that most people won't go after. Okay, first list, code enforcement. Guys, literally, I used to do deals off this list while I was working a job. So I would start off doing this business part-time. Code enforcement, this list is gold. Code enforcement is basically the properties, whereas the city, they write them up and they're gonna start fining them because they have the grass is too tall, the house may be falling apart, they may have junk cars in the yard, etc., right? So those people have a problem. Sometimes the tenant may break something and then turn around and call the city on the landlord, or the landlord is not taking proper care of the property, and the tenant say, hey, I shouldn't have to pay. And then they call the city and resulted in them having a code enforcement issue. And with this code enforcement issue, at that particular point, you then have to get that issue fixed, get that issue resolved somehow, or the city will start fining. And what you'll find is people just don't have the disposable income to get these properties fixed. The code enforcement list. How do you go there? You have to find the code enforcement department to your city. My students are doing extremely well with this. My students, I actually give them an email to send the person of that department so that they can get that list. Hey, I'm gonna help you guys as well. This list is free. Find the code enforcement to your city, right? And from you finding the code enforcement to your particular city, that department, you go down there, you will say, hey, listen, I'm trying to get the properties that have code enforcement violations. I do, repair services, lawn services, and just want to see if I can, help these people out, whatever the case may be. If you're in a major city, they probably point you to the direction of a website where you can get it off of a website, or they might email you the list. Now you have all these leads, okay? What to do with these leads, I'll get to that later. Let's just go over the list right now. So that's the code enforcement. There's another list you can go after, the boarded up homes list. This list was also good because some of these sellers, their houses are boarded up. When you have a house boarded up, meaning that it's boarded up with the wood boards. Have you ever seen that? When a house is boarded up, it looks something like this. Those people are supposed to call the city and let them know that the house is boarded up. So I guess extra police presence, etc. Make sure nobody breaks in, do things they're not supposed to do. So you get that list, right? From you get that list, you know the property is vacant, you know it's boarded up. You will get that list from the code enforcement department, probably point you in the direction. Not everybody offers that list. Another list, demolition list. The demolition list is basically the houses that are up for demolition. This list was gold. I used to always close stuff on this list, right? So, and these are small lists, so it doesn't but these people have situations going on, so they're motivated. These are small lists. The demolition list. These are houses that are set up to get demoed. Why are they getting demoed? The amount of work these houses need exceeds the amount of the tax value according to the city. So let's say the tax value on this house is $45,000, but it needs $60,000 to work. The city will push that house to get demoed, and if the owner doesn't respond, the city will knock down that house. And I know what you're thinking. Why wouldn't the owner respond? I have no clue. I don't ask any questions. But when some people have problems in their life, they get the ostrich syndrome. And what the ostrich syndrome is, they bury their head in the sand. And the problem is that you leave your butt in the air. Okay? So that's just how some people handle their problem. And then the city would knock down those houses. So what you would do is you would get in touch with that owner and say, hey, look, I'll buy this house. And from you buying this house, you get it under contract and assign it to a cash buyer. This doesn't have anything to do with you, but these houses are fixable. Let's say, depending on the violations, you'll get the buyer will get the report at closing. You can get the report just by asking for it. Once you talk to the sellers and you get the house under contract, you say, hey, look, I'm buying this house. What are the code enforcement violations? And normally they'll email you, or you can pick them up from an office. And basically, you just need permits to do the stuff that they're asking for. So if it's stuff like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, you're just gonna need permits to do things. And long as the city sees those permits, they won't knock down the house. This list actually scares some people, but this list is actually gold. Because some of the repairs that it needs, sometimes you don't even need a permit, but majority of the time you definitely have to pull a permit. As long as you do that, they won't knock down the house. Now, with code enforcement and demolition, what you'll notice is that these houses may have fines. You probably can negotiate those, being that you're the new buyer, depending on what were the services rendered, right? So if it's just fines because of interest from unpaid fines, something like that, they'll be willing to negotiate. But if it's service rendered, if they pay $150 to get your grass cut, well, you're gonna have to pay the $150. If they pay $7,500 to knock down your house, well, you're gonna have to pay the $7,500. But let's say they knocked down your house 8 years ago, and now you want to sell it, and it's up to $18,000. Well, you can go talk to them and see if they're willing to negotiate. All cities are different. I'm not saying they will, but you can. Now, another free list to get, right? So this is list number 4. So let's just recap on where we're at. Number 1, code enforcement. Number 2, boarded up homes. Number 3 was demolition list. Number 4 is tax delinquent. I'm in North Carolina. This is a tax deed state and not a tax lien state. All states are different. However, when they get behind on taxes, that information is normally listed somewhere online or in a spreadsheet. If you're in a major city, it's probably listed online. What you can do is go to your tax collector office or call down there. You call or go down there and just say, hey, listen, I'm looking for the list of houses that have back taxes due. Is there a way I can find that online, or do you guys have a spreadsheet? And they'll tell you exactly how to get to that information. And what I used to do, I used to have a virtual assistant get the information from online to put it into a spreadsheet. I did this when I was broke. Now, granted, we're getting this information for free. I used to get a virtual assistant for like $2 on Upwork.com. Or what you can do is set fee, like, hey, I'll pay $50 for you to get this information in the spreadsheet, or whatever the case may be, and organize it for me. What I mean by organize it, name, property address, mailing address if it's different, etc. You know, you send them a video on how to do it, and then they'll get it done. I used to have them organize it, right? And these people owe taxes. A lot of them will not be motivated, but some of them will, especially if the city's threatening them to take over their house or take it or bring it to sell. The city is doing all the marketing for you and all the hard work of creating the fear. What you're doing is you're coming with the solution and saying, hey, look, I'll buy your house so you can get something instead of letting the city take it. So, last but not least, let me get that drum roll. Number 5, probate. Most places, this list is free. Some places, I have heard they make you pay to look at the files. Most places, this is free. Probate is something that will never stop. Is basically people die. And what happens is if they have some assets and their family members do the right thing, they have to probate that, right? It's a process. So in North Carolina, probate is actually 90 days. A family member would say, Mary Sue or John Doe has passed. These are their assets. And this is what we're claiming. I want to start the probate process so we can sell this stuff or exchange the name of the deed, etc., and decide what we were going to do. Now, what happens is in North Carolina, it's a 90-day process, and with that 90 days, they basically run public notices. The city will run public notices saying that Mary Sue or John Doe has passed, and if he had any debtors, any creditors that he owed money to, step up within his 90 days or forever hold your peace. And that may require credit card bills, medical bills, etc. And these people can step up and say, hey, he owed us money. Like one example, I remember I was going after a probate deal. The person who passed owed more creditors than the house could sell for. So the courts had to take over that sale and basically get the highest amount. And with them getting the highest amount, because they have to divide that amongst the creditors. To be fair, you'll come across that sometime. Once the courts get involved in the sale, then I step away. But in a lot of the cases, you'll notice that the equity in the property will settle the debts if any debts are there. Probate, right? Where do you go? You're normally going to go to your county's office, all right? You go down to your county office, the courthouse, whatever you guys call it, and what you would do is you would ask for what department handles probate. If they say we're not sure what you're talking about, the estate files. What department handles the estates? They'll point you in a direction, and then you can just actually start looking through files. Every spot is different. Where I'm located at, you have to have file numbers. They'll give you 5 files at a time. Open it up, see if there's any assets in there. Close it up. If there's no property in there, go to the next file, get the next file, get the next file. It's tedious, but guess what? It's also free. And this is a free lead source. It's either do you want the success or you don't. Those are 5 free lists I gave you, all right? So let's say, like I started in the beginning of this video, pockets coming up with lint, you bare knuckle. You just don't have it right now. This is how I started. This is how you get leads. From doing research on these particular properties, let's say you get a motivated seller, you're gonna have to do some comping. If you're down and out, go to DoruData.com, DORU data.com, a 7-day free trial, and you can actually, start comping this property. So if this property you see sells for $200,000, but you can get in for the seller's asking $120, you lock it up for $110, and you're seeing the cash sales all within DoruData around $120, $130. Well, then guess what? You can lock this up, sell it for $120 or $130, and make a quick $10, $20K and move on to the next deal. And now you have 5 figures put up, and you can do more marketing. Maybe you can buy a list, and you can actually use DoruData.com to actually pull up to 10,000 seller leads on the basic plan. Up to 10,000 seller leads a month, man. At 10,000 seller leads, you gotta be able to get that. But like I was saying in the beginning of the video, what do you do next? I got this data. What do I do next? Well, when I first got started, I would handwrite them a postcard. I would basically write, I want to buy your house for cash at 123 Main Street. Please call my phone number. Then, sincerely, NASA. That's how I used to do it. But I got an easier way for you guys. You will then take that data, go to BigSkipTracing.com, upload that data into BigSkipTracing.com. BigSkipTracing.com will then spit out phone numbers for you. Get the phone numbers and you start dialing. Alright? That's how you do that. And check this out, right? If you want more of a detailed process, I know this video was short, but if you want more of a detailed process, just go to 9weekcourse.com. Over the 9 week, you get a email a week with basically unlocking a new video on how to wholesale houses from A to Z. It's everything you need, man. So, just check that out. Shout out to my students at the Duru Squad. We do this business. I appreciate them. They're closing deals left and right with these proven methods. If it can work for them, it can work for you. As usual, until next time, I wish you much success in your life and in your business. Peace.